Hello, I'm Jeremy Vine, and this is Panorama. Who'll take care of us in our old age?
Sorry. Oh, Mum, don't. Sorry. Don't. Don't ever be sorry.
The state can't afford to look after us.
Why should we have to sell our homes to fund our care?
But can we plan a better future for ourselves?
Here we go for our new life. Goodbye the old, hello the new. That's it, isn't it?
Or, as Britain's baby boomers turn 65, are the good times about to stop rolling?
So have you got lots of savings that are going to keep you going?
No, none at all.
With nearly a quarter of the population expected to be over 65 within 20 years, how we pay for the care of our elderly is a question in dire need of an answer. Simply by being born after the war, the baby boomers have lived through a golden era of full student grants and salary-related pension schemes. But can their luck continue? In this special authored report, Dame Joan Bakewell, who until recently was the government's voice of older people, has been exploring how we're facing up to old age.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing.
The swinging 60s, they're called, a time when the baby boomers were young and carefree. Not anymore. Next year, they start hitting 65, and their retirement will be putting an ever greater strain on our public services.
Late night lineup, as you can see, looks rather different tonight.
Yes, I was there. And 40 years later, I've been speaking out about what it is to be old.
We assume that the welfare state was created to care for us from the cradle to the grave. Not so.
As we become increasingly frail, social care that's helped with washing, dressing, cooking and the like has to be done for us, and almost always has to be paid for. Many of us are having to sell our homes to fund it. I'm off to Somerset to meet a family facing up to decisions we all dread.
This is it. This is what I've been trying to get for you.
And this is it. Marion Croucher, with daughter Cathy beside her, is moving into full-time care, leaving her home of more than 30 years.
Don't ever pour. Because you need looking after now, Mum. You need looking after now.
The bond between mother and daughter is close. For both, it's a time for tears. A few years ago, Cathy began noticing small changes in her mother's behaviour. Tiny things at first.
I noticed Mum wasn't quite right, and when I'd go into the kitchen I noticed that things weren't washed up properly, or things were put in different places and not where they should be, and I just noticed Mum was deteriorating.
Marion had dementia. So last autumn, Cathy, together with her husband and son, gave up life in London to move in with her 81-year-old mother, back to the family home where she'd grown up. You had a home in London, you had a job in London. Did you not think, can't some other arrangement be made? Why have I got to make this move?
I never thought that at all. I've loved, we're a very close family, and we try and help each other when we can. And I just felt now was payback. It was my turn to look after Mum. It's all right, Mum.
Sorry.
Oh, Mum, don't.
Sorry.
Don't. Don't ever be sorry. Don't ever be sorry. You've got nothing to be sorry for.
In December, there was a crisis. Cathy's mother had a fall and was taken to hospital. The family was told she'd never be able to return home. She needed residential care. On average, the length of stay in a care home is 2 years. For those with dementia, like Marion, it can be much longer.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Miss Morgan, all right?
Yeah, fine, thank you. And you?
Oh, lovely. It rains howling off.
Cathy is getting estate agents in to value the family home. The nursing home costs nearly £900 a week, so she's having to sell up to pay for her mother's care. As the place Kathy's chosen for her mum doesn't have a contract with the local authority, she can't get help with the fees.
I think the garden's what's really going to sell it, so let's get some colour.
The house will be sold to provide for care, but how much care will that provide?
That'll provide roughly about 3.4 years of cover for Mum.
That's money that you might well have inherited.
We would have inherited the house, my two brothers and myself. But, you know, it's Mum's care.
With the house sold, Kathy, her husband and son will be left homeless and with nothing to inherit.
Oh, my goodness me, Kathy.
I know.
Is all this yours?
Yes, more or less. This is my life. Or, you know, the family's life, really.
Kathy moved here just a year ago. Now, with a second disruption, she'll be packing up the boxes again.
Do you think it's a fair system that expects you to sell the house?
Not really. I mean, all their lives, Mum and Dad have worked. You know, my dad had worked, my mum had worked. They paid into the system, they paid into the social funding, everything. And I think they expected to be looked after in their old age.
In England, anyone with assets of more than £23,000 usually has to pay for any social care they need. When it comes to long-term residential care, those assets include our homes. When you're younger, you don't think this will happen to you. Even when you're old and fit, it's hard to believe. But the hard fact is this: 3 in 4 of us over 65 will need to be looked after at some point. The system, set up long ago in the 1940s, means that all but the very poorest must pay. Then along came the baby boomers, buying their own homes and enjoying the huge rise in their value. The property boom has made them the richest generation ever.
If people are sitting on such assets, such wealth, can they expect the rest of us to pay in taxes so that they can hand it on to their children? I was criticised for challenging the right of children to an inheritance they haven't earned while their parents draw on the state. What do other people think?
If it's your house, then obviously you should sell it to then, you know, get a place that's going to look after you for the rest of your life.
I hate the thought of homes and things like that. That isn't what people want at all.
I don't agree that you have to sell everything just to pay for your care, but I think you have to have some provision.
I've worked hard to create my own home, and I don't intend to give it up to anybody.
I would expect there to be a degree of state provision, but if you can keep people in their homes for as long as possible, I think that's desirable on many levels.
The old are living longer, so there are far more of us enjoying a good old age. Right now, there are 4 people working for each retired person. By 2060, that will change to just 2. Providing free social care for older people will put an ever-increasing burden on the working population.
Should you have to sell your house to pay for care? I think most people would say, well, no, that's terrible. If, on the other hand, you said, look, if you've got a house that's worth £200,000, £400,000 and you need long-term care, would it be reasonable when you no longer need that house? There's an important question here: just how fair is it to dump all of those costs onto the taxpayer, who in many cases will be poorer than the people whose care they are paying for through their taxes? So there's some real issues about fairness across the generations here.
Public money for social care comes from 2 sources: general taxation and the council tax. The coalition government insists that finances are in crisis, and already some councils are tightening up on who qualifies for free care. We've been told to expect cuts of 25% across the board in public services for the next 4 years, and social care is not protected.
We face a crisis.